Hi Stitches, it's Jan again from Thread Garden. I'm today going to do Coffee Stitches tag. I tried to do it last week and then the battery I think went halfway through. So I'm going to film it again. Excuse me, I've got the questions written down on a piece of paper and I think it's probably the best way to make sure I've covered everything. The first question is, what is one designer you didn't initially have any interest in until you actually did one? My answer to that will be Heaven and Earth design. I wasn't particularly interested in them when I first saw them back probably in 2011, and then just slowly over the next year I started falling in love with some, and I particularly found one that I just fell totally in love with called Love by Marta Darling. And so I decided, right, throw myself in. It was a large pattern, 50 odd pages, and I thought, right, let's just do it. So I threw myself into it without probably really thinking about it properly. I didn't do any test stitching, and the fabric just was very difficult to work with, and it was a complete fail. So that really turned me off it, and I thought, no, can't do this. I'll never do it again. I'll just stay away from them. And then over the last year again, I've seen some patterns and I've watched YouTube videos with some tips. I've done more reading about it, and I decided, right, let's give it a go. And this time it was much more successful, partly because I was working on a mini pattern, and I must say it's just Heaven and Earth designs, and I just like that. It's just worked beautifully. I've also learnt how to park, and that's made it easier. I'm tent stitching, which makes the project go quicker. The fabric's pre-gridded, so I don't have to worry about that, and I've loved that gridding. So highly recommend it if you want to have a go. Start off with something small. So I'm always on the lookout for new Heaven and Earth design patterns that I fall in love with, and I've collected probably about 7 patterns in my stash for Heaven and Earth designs. My latest one, I've just bought Mini Princess and the Pea, and I've talked about that in a previous video, and I've bought the mini pattern for that, so that might be the next one I start. The second question is, what is one designer that you cannot get in the groove of? And my answer to that would be the Dimensions Petite Gold collection. I'm doing an old pattern, it's a Noah's Ark pattern, and I'm finding it very hard to enjoy it. Partly I didn't start the project. I'm finishing a project off for someone. Not that I'm, you know, she's given it to me. I don't have to give it back to her or anything, so there's no time pressure. The threads had to be separated yourself, so I'm not 100% sure the colours are coded correctly. The threads are blended, so and already pre-cut really short. So to do the loop method's really hard and impossible sometimes, especially when you've got 2 threads of a different colour. You can't do that. The chart's coloured, and actually I quite like black and white charts. The pattern isn't that easy to read, but I'm determined once I finish my preschooler alphabet I will work on this Noah's Ark and continue it. And the third question is, what is one chart you would love to see made, and who would you like to see design it? Well, I always love Enid Blyton and fairy tales, and so I'd love to see the Magic Faraway Tree done as a cross stitch pattern. I'm not sure whether it's doable yet, you know, in terms of copyright and that. So it might be like 20 or 30 years away from someone legally being able to do that pattern, but I think it'll be really cute. Especially, I can imagine Moonface, and I can imagine a few of the lands on the top of the tree, and the children and the big slide. I think it'd be a fabulous cross stitch pattern. The people I would like to see stitch it are probably Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, Soda Stitch, or Clouds Factory. I think they would do a really neat job of interpreting that. So there are my answers. I tag anyone to do coffee stitches tag. So if you see me today, you liked the idea of the questions, why don't you give it a go? I'll write the questions in my description box under the video, and I look forward to hearing your answers and watching this tag go around. Bye.